God once looked at his own people's sacrifices and said, "I don't need them. I already own every animal on 1,000 hills." Today, we find out what he actually wants instead. Psalm 50 opens like a courtroom. God isn't whispering. He's summoning heaven and earth as witnesses, fire going ahead of him, and he's putting his own covenant people on trial. But here's the twist. He's not mad they stopped sacrificing. He's mad they thought sacrifice was ever about feeding him. "If I were hungry," he says, "I would not tell you, for the world and its fullness are mine." Every ox, every bird, every wild animal already belongs to God. So what does he actually want from a burnt offering? Not the smoke, the heart underneath it. And that same question, what do you actually owe God when everything's already his, sits right next to one of the most devastating chapters in the entire Bible, where Jerusalem has nothing left to offer at all. Welcome back to Daily Bread Chronicles. We're following Bible Project's The One Story That Leads to Jesus reading plan. You can find it free at bibleproject.com. And today is day 205, Lamentations 4 and 5, with Psalm 50. This is the last stretch of Lamentations, and it does not go easy on you. Let's get into it. Lamentations 4 is the chapter people skip when they teach through this book, and it's easy to see why. The poet describes Jerusalem after the Babylonian siege in language that doesn't soften anything. The precious sons of Zion, worth their weight in fine gold, how they are regarded as earthen pots, the work of a potter's hands. Lamentations 4:2. Gold has tarnished. Children beg for bread and no one has any to give. Mothers, the text says, have resorted to unthinkable acts just to survive the famine. The princes who once wore royal robes now scavenge in ash heaps, and it's not framed as random tragedy, it's framed as consequence. The chapter names Judah's sin as greater than the sin of Sodom, 4:6, because Sodom fell in a moment, but Jerusalem's collapse came after generations of warning ignored. Even the king, the Lord's anointed, is caught in Babylon's pits, 4:20. The very leader who was supposed to be Judah's shelter from every nation. Chapter 5 shifts from description to prayer. It's a communal lament, the whole nation confessing what's been lost line by line, orphans without fathers, widows with no protector, elders no longer respected at the city gate, young men grinding at the mill like slaves, and devastatingly, the joy of our hearts has ceased. Our dancing has been turned to mourning, 5:15. The chapter and the whole book ends without resolution. Restore us to yourself, O Lord, that we may be restored. Renew our days as of old, unless you have utterly rejected us and are angry with us beyond measure. 5:21-22. Lamentations doesn't tie a bow on suffering. It just keeps praying into the silence. Did you know? Lamentations 1-4 are each written as acrostic poems, working through the Hebrew alphabet letter by letter, a literary structure often used to express something exhaustive, from A to Z. Even the grief in this book is written with careful, controlled artistry, as if the poet is saying, "This sorrow is complete, and I am still choosing to shape it into prayer rather than let it collapse into chaos." That question of what God actually wants from us, voiced back in chapter 5's plea for restoration, is exactly what Psalm 50 answers head-on. Offer to God a sacrifice of thanksgiving and perform your vows to the Most High. Psalm 50:14. Not empty ritual, not bargaining. A heart that actually calls on Him. Where in your life have you been offering God routine, showing up, checking boxes, instead of actually calling on Him in the day of trouble? Psalm 50 says that's what He's after, not your sacrifice, your surrender. Which hits you harder today, the raw grief of Lamentations 5 or the courtroom warning of Psalm 50? Tell me in the comments. Chapter 4. How the gold has lost its luster, the fine gold become dull. The sacred gems are scattered at every street corner. How the precious children of Zion, once worth their weight in gold, are now considered as pots of clay, the work of a potter's hands. Even jackals offer their breasts to nurse their young, but my people have become heartless like ostriches in the desert. Because of thirst, the infant's tongue sticks to the roof of its mouth, the children beg for bread, but no one gives it to them. Those who once ate delicacies are destitute in the streets. Those brought up in royal purple now lie on ash heaps. The punishment of my people is greater than that of Sodom, which was overthrown in a moment without a hand turned to help her. Their princes were brighter than snow and whiter than milk, their bodies more ruddy than rubies, their appearance like lapis lazuli. But now they are blacker than soot. They are not recognized in the streets. Their skin has shriveled on their bones, it has become as dry as a stick. Those killed by the sword are better off than those who die of famine. Racked with hunger, they waste away for lack of food from the field. With their own hands, compassionate women have cooked their own children, who became their food when my people were destroyed. The Lord has given full vent to his wrath. He has poured out his fierce anger. He kindled a fire in Zion that consumed her foundations. The kings of the earth did not believe, nor did any of the peoples of the world, that enemies and foes could enter the gates of Jerusalem. But it happened because of the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests, who shed within her the blood of the righteous. Now they grope through the streets as if they were blind. They are so defiled with blood that no one dares to touch their garments. "Go away, you are unclean," people cry to them. "Away, away, don't touch us." When they flee and wander about, people among the nations say, "They can stay here no longer." The Lord himself has scattered them. He no longer watches over them. The priests are shown no honor, the elders no favor. Moreover, our eyes failed, looking in vain for help. From our towers we watched for a nation that could not save us. People stalked us at every step, so we could not walk in our streets. Our end was near, our days were numbered, for our end had come. Our pursuers were swifter than eagles in the sky. They chased us over the mountains and lay in wait for us in the desert. The Lord's anointed, our very life breath, was caught in their traps. We thought that under his shadow we would live among the nations. Rejoice and be glad, daughter Edom, you who live in the land of Uz. But to you also the cup will be passed. You will be drunk and stripped naked. Your punishment will end, daughter Zion. He will not prolong your exile. But he will punish your sin, daughter Edom, and expose your wickedness. Chapter 5. Remember, Lord, what has happened to us. Look and see our disgrace. Our inheritance has been turned over to strangers, our homes to foreigners. We have become fatherless. Our mothers are widows. We must buy the water we drink. Our wood can be had only at a price. Those who pursue us are at our heels. We are weary and find no rest. We submitted to Egypt and Assyria to get enough bread. Our ancestors sinned and are no more, and we bear their punishment. Slaves rule over us, and there is no one to free us from their hands. We get our bread at the risk of our lives because of the sword in the desert. Our skin is hot as an oven, feverish from hunger. Women have been violated in Zion, and virgins in the towns of Judah. Princes have been hung up by their hands, elders are shown no respect. Young men toil at the millstones, boys stagger under loads of wood. The elders are gone from the city gate. The young men have stopped their music. Joy is gone from our hearts. Our dancing has turned to mourning. The crown has fallen from our head. Woe to us, for we have sinned. Because of this, our hearts are faint. Because of these things, our eyes grow dim for Mount Zion, which lies desolate, with jackals prowling over it. You, Lord, reign forever. Your throne endures from generation to generation. Why do you always forget us? Why do you forsake us so long? Restore us to yourself, Lord, that we may return. Renew our days as of old, unless you have utterly rejected us and are angry with us beyond measure. Thank you for spending part of your day in God's Word with me. If this reading is feeding your soul, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it today. Tomorrow we continue in Esther, chapters 1 to 5 with Psalm 51. Until then, remember, God doesn't want your empty sacrifice, He wants your honest heart. God bless you, and I will see you in the Word tomorrow.